Hello friends, welcome to my channel Quick Chess for You, a complete guide for beginners to understand the basic rules, some winning tricks and techniques. Before we get into all the details, please click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification. Let's summarize what we learned so far in the previous lesson, that is Introduction to Chess Chapter 1. Files and ranks, square names, chess pieces names and values, how to move chess pieces, and how to set up the chessboard.
If you have not yet gone through chapter 1, then I would suggest to watch the chapter 1 by clicking on the I button above.
It's very essential to have a basic understanding of the game rules. Please do watch this video, Introduction to Chess Chapter 2, where we will be learning about the symbols and notations used in chess. The chess terminology we use to define the moves is equally important. In simple terms, you can say this is a language that every chess player should know. It's simple and easy to learn. So let's get started.
Today we are going to learn about the chess notation and symbols, which is one of the important topic for beginners. These basics are very important to learn before we start playing chess. Also remember, end of each chapter we will include a short assignment which will help you to understand the concepts better. Do not miss the assignments. The assignments are very important and helpful. Chess notation is used for each piece using capital letter. For king it is K, and for queen it is Q, for rook it is R, and for bishop it's B, for knight N, and for pawn we use the square name, we don't use P. The knight is denoted by N because K has already been taken by king. Each move in a chess game is recorded using algebraic notation. It's the official method to record the game, and this is how we read, write and talk about the game. You need to know how to record the games. It's very simple and easy to learn. A move in chess is identified by combining the piece's initial with its destination square. The rook standing on a5 and moving to h5 is recorded as rh5. R should be in capital letter and h5 should be small. Remember that the square names are always denoted in lowercase. Similarly, here the move of a bishop to the g5 square is therefore written as bg5, where b is written in capital letter and g5 should be small. Let's have a look at other notations as well for queen, king and knight. In this example, the queen move is recorded as qf8. because the queen is moving to the square f8. Another example for knight moving to the square e6. So we can write the move as ne6. N should be in capital letter. In this example, the king is moving to the square e5, and that can be written as ke5. But for the pawn, we don't use P. We just use the square name. The pawn moving from e2 square to e4 square is simply recorded as e4, the name of the destination square. The movement of black pawn from e7 to e5 is denoted as e5, the name of the destination square. We already learned in the previous chapter that pawns cannot move backwards and it can capture one square diagonally to the left or right. Apart from that, pawn has been given with one unique power. When the pawn reaches the end of the chessboard, it can be promoted with either a queen, rook, bishop, or knight. A pawn cannot be promoted to king or remain as a pawn. It has to compulsorily promoted to any of the four power pieces, but except the king. The player usually has to announce the name of the pieces that he or she is going to replace with the pawn. There is no restriction on the number of pawn promotions. Theoretically, it's possible to have 9 queens. Similarly, you can promote the pawns to any number of rooks, bishops, or knights. The choice is all yours. Now let's see how to record the move for the pawn promotion. In this position, white moves the pawn to c8 and promotes the pawn to queen. We can write it as c8 equals to q. For the rook promotion, the notation would be c8 equals to r, and for the bishop, c8 equals to b, and for the knight, c8 equals to n. In this position, black can move the pawn to g1 and promote the pawn to queen. We can write it as g1 equals to q. The black pawn can also be promoted to rook, bishop, or knight. For the rook promotion, the notation would be g1 equals to r, and for the bishop, g1 equals to b, and for the knight, g1 equals to n. Now let's look at the notation for capturing with a piece. The symbol of capture is identified by a small x. In this example, white queen captures the black queen, and the notation can be written as q cross d5. Here the white bishop captures the black knight, and the notation can be written as b cross c6. In this example, the knight can capture the pawn on e5. The notation would be n cross e5. Here king can capture the knight on f7, and it's recorded as k cross f7. Similarly, here we can say r cross f7 for the rook capturing the knight. Now let's see the notation for capturing with a pawn. In this example, the pawn can capture the bishop on f5. We can write the move as g cross f5. G and f both should be in small letter as they represent the name of the file. So the current file of the pawn, that's g, and the bishop is on f5. So the notation would be g cross f5. You can see the bishop is on e8. If you are capturing a piece, that's the bishop which is on e8 on the last rank, you can say f cross e8 equals to q. The pawn can be promoted to queen, and a equal sign is used when we promote the pawn to queen. When a player's king is under threat or attack by opponent's piece, that's called check. Just remember, when the opponent's king is threatened by check, a plus sign is added to the end of the notation. In this example, rook is giving a check to the black king. The rook which is on b2 can go to b5 and give a check to black king. Notation for this move is rb5 plus. Let's see another example. Here the rook is capturing the bishop and giving a check to the black king. So it can be written as r cross b5 plus. Since there is a check to the king, it is denoted by a plus symbol at the end. A small x is the symbol of capture and plus is used for check, which is added to the end of the notation. After capturing a piece on the last rank, if there is a check to the king, we can use the symbol plus to the end of the notation. So here we can say f cross e8 equals to q plus. Similarly, let me show one more example for black pawn promoting on first rank. The black pawn on e2 can capture the white rook on d1 and promote the pawn to either queen, knight, rook or bishop. So let's promote to queen. Now you see there is a check to the king. So when the pawn is capturing the rook, it is promoted to queen and at the same time the queen will be giving a check to the king. So the notation can be written as e cross d1 equals to q plus. Plus is added at the end of the notation because the queen is giving a check to the king. Now let's see another example where we have two pieces attacking the same square and anyone can capture. There are two rooks on b5 and e1 who can capture the bishop on e5. If there are two similar pieces attacking the same square, then you need to specify the piece either with file or rank. Let's say the rook on first rank is going to capture the bishop, then we can say r1 cross e5. If the other rook captures the bishop, then we can say r5 cross e5. Similarly, we can also specify the notation using files. We can alternatively write it as re cross e5, and for the other rook we can write rb cross e5. Let's look at this example where both of the rooks are on the same rank. Here we can't use rank to specify the piece, but we need to use files since both of the rooks are on second rank. So you can say ra cross d2 or rg cross d2 to capture the bishop. So it depends on the position how you want to identify and specify the particular piece when you are going to capture. Either you can use rank or file based on the position. Let's see another example, knight capturing the queen. If this particular knight on c file is going to capture the queen, we can say nc cross d5, and if the knight on f file is going to capture the queen, then we can say nf cross d5. So these are the different ways to write the notation in chess. Usually file takes precedence over rank. Here we can use file instead of rank, but practically you can use both. So we can also write the notation as n3 cross d5 or n4 cross d5. Let's quickly see how to write down the chess notation for the game. We have our white side and black side. It's important as a chess player you write down both moves for white and black. If you write down only your move, it's not going to be so helpful. First move, let's say white moves the pawn to e4. Remember, for pawn move, we just write the square name. We don't write pe4. By writing e4, we know that a pawn has been moved. Now let's make the first move for black. The black pawn moves to the square e5, so we can write e5. The next move that white plays is knight to f3, and it's written as nf3. Next, let's say black moves the knight to c6, so it's nc6. Now move number 3. Let's say white brings out the bishop to b5. That's b5. You can notice here capital B is used for bishop and lowercase for the square name. Black plays the third move, a6. Now let's say white decides to capture the knight. So the move number 4 is written as b cross c6, as the bishop is moving to the square c6. Then let's say black will capture back the bishop with the pawn. That can be written as d cross c6. You can see here the moves are written in two columns as white and black pairs. The series of moves can also be written as shown here, in white and black pairs preceded by the move number and a period. Move number 1 e4 e5, then move number 2 nf3 nc6, move number 3 bb5 and a6, and move number 4 for white it's b cross c6, and for black d cross c6. So this is how we write down the chess notation for the game. There are other symbols used in chess which we will be using while playing and analyzing the games. You can find some of the symbols here. The common symbols for evaluating the merits of a move. A single exclamation represents a good move, whereas a double exclamation represents an excellent move. A single question mark after a move indicates that this is a mistake. This often leads to loss of tempo or loss of a piece. The double question mark that indicates a blunder usually results in an immediately lost position. We have other symbols like X, plus, hash, and equals to sign. A small x is used while capturing a piece, which we have learned already in the chapter. Check is denoted by a plus symbol, and for checkmate we use double plus sign or hash symbol, which we are going to learn in our upcoming chapters. And equals to sign is used when there is a positional equality and also used during pawn promotion. I have an assignment for you. Please fill in the blanks in the table for the symbols and the chess pieces values. For example, K is the symbol used for king. We don't assign any particular value to the king because king is the game. But you can update the values for all other pieces. In this example, the knight can capture the black's pawn on e5. How do you write the notation for the move? Here, black's knight can capture the white's bishop on d7. How to write the notation for the move? In this example, black just moved the knight from g8 to f6. However, the knight from d7 could have also moved to f6. In this case, what's the correct way to write the notation? Next, black can promote the h-file pawn into a queen. How do we write the notation for this move? The white pawn can capture the black pawn on d5. How to write the notation for the move? White can capture the black's rook and promote the pawn into a queen. How to write the notation for the same? Do watch the next video for the solutions. As you finish watching the upcoming series, you will know more about chess. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking my image icon.